Hey, it's Adam with Ri3D here at Purdue. I'm coming at you with our kind of daily lunch recap. Two big things on the docket today. First of all, as many of you are aware, Swerve has been our worst nightmare. We've had really silly issues, but we think we've started to find a fix. We are using the Thrifty Mag Absolute Encoders. Now, no fault on them. I have personally used them for several years in robots. They work fine. However, the issue we're having is there is two separate kind of mounts to my understanding, and we are using one that doesn't align the encoder as well with the magnet, which is why there's another version, just a simple kind of 3D print, and you pop it in that instead, and it should work noticeably better. Now, since we are not using that, and since additive manufacturing such as 3D printers takes more time than we necessarily have, we are choosing a different route, which I'll talk about here in a second. However, for that fix, that would potentially fix any weird numbers like what we were having, and it also explained why no matter how much we tried to fix or alter the code, nothing seemed to work since we almost had a sine graph or like a cubic function graph of values rather than a straight linear like we would be expecting. Now, to counteract this, instead what we're doing is we are going away with absolute encoders for the time being. We currently have a few leads to hopefully get some from local FRC teams that we can borrow to just implement them later down the road. But in the meantime, we will just be aligning our wheels straight and using the, I forgot the name. Aaron, relative encoders, that's it there, sorry. Long day, not a whole lot of sleep. I see the numbers, Aaron, good job, buddy. Okay, relative encoders. Now, I would never use this on a comp bot. This is a painfully bad idea. It is going to make your autos rougher. There is a reason why the absolute encoders are there, and it is for consistency, not redundancy. However, for the sake of Ri3D, instead what we can do is we can align our wheels straight every single time we push code or first initiate. So that way when they turn on, the Spark Maxes see what we are considering 0, which is straightforward, and then we use that value relative rather than an absolute value that we set once and can basically forget it so long as we never move the magnet encoder or things like that. So that should hopefully give us a more consistent base to log data and kind of work through Swerve as a whole. So I think we feel a little more confident on that front. We've still got a few bumps, but we feel a lot better than we did this morning because it seems we've tracked down the quote-unquote hardware issue we're fixing, even though it was more so user error and lack of knowledge than it was a failure on that part. Now, going to our second thing. On my team, 7457, we had a thing we called Champions Day. And those are the days where, you know, we got out of school for something, but we could still go to the shop. Those are things like snow days or President's Day or kind of like the random one-off holidays that like, they're not so much a holiday so much as you don't have to go to school or to work for the day. And so we would take those as a moment of, you know, we don't just want to be solid or we don't just want to maybe be good, we want to be champions. And we want to put in those extra few hours there to help make a difference. Now, originally we had counted on losing our workspace at roughly 4 p.m. today, and even though it's Ri3D, we get Ri 2.5D and we kind of call it as best as we can. However, thanks to some very helpful parents and family friends, we have managed to find places to continue working so we can jump into our own unprompted and really unexpected Ri3D Champions Day to get that last day. The main goals of this are to finish any code, make sure that we can get more in-depth detail on how our mechanisms work and really showcase them to their full potential. And then lastly, we can try to run full simulated cycles without any human interaction and exactly how they would if this was on a real field. That's our general update for lunch. We'll be answering the few questions that we got, such as why we picked a certain spot for our coral intake mechanism and any other questions at our dinner Q&A. Thank you all and see you all then.